To infinity.
Am I pulling your finger?
No.
Hey everybody, welcome to Twin Talk, a video discussion show where twin brothers Chris and Kevin drink and draw. We'll talk about comic books, movies, and all things pop culture. We are your hosts, Chris Hart.
Kevin Hart.
And today we are talking about Lightyear.
Stick around to the end of the episode to see how our drawing of Buzz Lightyear came out. If you like what you see, subscribe to the channel for more content. On cue.
Lightyear is the newest release from Disney. It stars Chris Evans, Keke Palmer, James Brolin, and John Turturro. I'm sorry, Taika Waititi.
I was especially hyped for this movie because Toy Story is a great film. Nostalgia fuel. Chris was always a Woody fan. Buzz was my guy, so once I saw the trailer for this, I was super hyped. Was a little thrown that Tim Allen is not the voice, but this is like a separate version of the character. This was the movie that made the entire toy line, right? And the first credits was sick. I got chills. It was like in '95. Andy got a toy for his birthday from this movie. That's this movie. And I was just like, okay, let's go. I'm in this. And it didn't disappoint. I thought it was solid. Nothing crazy, but I'm happy it's an addition to the Toy Story lore.
It's kind of like an anthology, almost like a spin-off of the Toy Story franchise, which I've loved every Toy Story movie besides 4. So I get why they might want to go into new directions, but I was excited for this movie. At first, people were saying it might be an Oscar contender, which I was all about because it was like, all right, yeah, like use the animation, make this crazy, awesome sci-fi story in the vein of like the '90s movies, like do a whole '90s blockbuster. The movie that Andy saw, lean into that. I wish they leaned more into that.
Yeah.
Almost like a like an Independence Day or something in that vein.
This movie better come out on VHS. I was expecting more of like Buzz Lightyear Star Command, the cartoon.
Yeah.
But this was really cool. I liked it was very action packed, a lot of heart. Again, a very solid, simple story that just worked. It was just like what it needed to be.
There's a lot of callbacks too. You could tell like what it's borrowing from, like almost like all these different space movies of the 80s and 90s. You could see like what's in there, the flavor that they're giving you. The turnip is the ship that they were on or whatever.
Yeah.
Very reminiscent of E.T.'s ship. We see at one point Zurg.
Even in the Infinity like callback.
Yeah, that's an E.T. thing.
E.T. reference, yeah.
And then we see that at one point there's a set piece where Zurg and Lightyear are fighting, and it's very reminiscent of The Empire Strikes Back, where Luke and Vader had their lightsaber duel. So it's just cool seeing like those little things put in there. It was very like a love letter to those 80s and 90s sci-fi
space. Yeah. Even the callbacks too to the first Toy Story of him documenting like the vlog of Star Command and the reflection in his helmet and just like the lines and the way it like worked for this story. I was like, I see what you're doing there, because you're getting a new audience with new kids of today.
Yeah.
And also the parents that were like us growing up on this movie, so everyone gets to enjoy it, all ages.
I do wish that they kind of like went more with it, because if you're like marketing this thing as like the movie that sold Andy on this character, I wanted a little bit more like iconography with it. You know what I'm saying? Like more quotable lines, more crazy set pieces. I don't know, something that Andy like.
Something just a little bit more.
Oh, just a tiny bit more. Yeah, because overall it's a pretty good story. It didn't go the direction.
Safe.
Yeah, it's a very safe movie. It didn't go to the direction I thought it was going to go in. But overall, it's a pretty simple sci-fi story
for
about
kids. Yeah.
Yeah, just Buzz Lightyear. I wanted to see more Star Command. I wanted to see more stuff with Zurg. I always loved Zurg since Toy Story 2. And I just wanted to see more of that fleshed out. And there's that thing in Toy Story 2 where there's that scene of them fighting on the elevator and Zurg says to Buzz, "I am your father." That's kind of undone in this movie.
Not canon.
Yeah, not canon. Like that could have just been like a Star Wars reference just for this fan's sake, but I was kind of hoping to see that pay off a little bit. I didn't mind the twist. I thought it was a pretty good plot twist, because that's what got me that's what sold me on this movie. Overall, it was okay, but once it got to that plot twist of it's him from the future and him trying to like
undo
his own mission. Yeah, that's when I thought the climax of the movie was pretty well done.
Yeah, definitely.
I was pretty on edge of my seat. I thought everything was pretty well done in that climax.
Yeah, because this movie gets very interstellar very quickly. And honestly, like the character Hawthorne, the first one, I was crushed. Like my wife was crying. I was damn near tears. I was like, wow. I was like, it was like 20 minutes into the movie, not even, and he's just jumping on this mission. He's so dedicated to his mission that it's like hurting the people that he's trying to save, and it's like kind of like to his detriment. So that was a cool like thematic thing happening in the movie, and it was just really heartfelt to see like the Infinity Beyond and her not there, and they're cleaning up the office. I was like,
Yeah.
brutal.
When he
really
walked
sad.
into the empty office, I was like, this was eventually gonna come.
Yeah.
And it finally came, and I was like, yeah, that's pretty heartbreaking.
Because Chris Evans once again plays a man at a time. Not only is he Captain America and missed like 100 years, now he's Buzz Lightyear and missed 100 years of like time.
Yeah. I like the things that they did play with that, as far as like things that have changed in the last 100 years, like the meat sandwich.
Yeah.
That was pretty funny. They're like,
It's all wet and sloppy.
Yeah. They're like, oh, it's you know, meat, bread, meat. But he was like, oh, like
Thinking outside the box.
Yeah.
He had to change his perspective on the world. Yeah.
Yeah. And what do you think about the team too, the ragtag team that he gets? Like I said, I
like
wanted
them. They were fun. Yeah.
It was fun. I did want more Star Commandy like type people, like badass. It's almost like Aliens, the cast of Aliens. We get a little bit of that, but like we find out that they're just rookies. They're not even rookies actually at this point, and they're just kind of like people that are making mistakes. And I get that it played into the whole thematics of like he was driven by his own overconfidence, and he needed to rely on people even if they weren't experienced. So I get that, but I did want to see a little bit more like badassery, I guess, out of the Star Command guys.
Yeah, because it's supposed to be epic. Star Command, this is the lore we grew up with. Space Ranger.
Yeah, exactly.
There was a lot of cool moments though, because I like the fact that the granddaughter Izzy, right, was her name. That came full circle too with the whole family element and her living up to the grandmother's shoes. I loved all that. Very heartfelt
good stuff.
But I was super hyped when I saw Zurg. I was super hyped when he got the laser. I was like, all right, cool. I was like, where's the laser?
From
I was like,
stun to
kill. And then when he got the wings, that's when I was like ready.
I was
to
waiting for
clap.
that the entire movie.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, fine, Buzz, go Buzz. Go. He's a star, man.
He can fly.
He can fly.
Yeah, I was waiting for the wings the entire movie. So when he did finally like do that, and he said, "Not today, Zurg," I was like, "Yes."
There it is.
That's the stuff that I wanted. Was like more iconic things like that.
Those are the lines that will be going into the toy line.
Yeah. And Taika Waititi's character too. Like I said, they're a ragtag team. But how many times did they foreshadow that use of the pen? Right?
Yeah.
I turned to my brother during the movie. I was like, Chekhov's gun. Yeah. I was like, it's eventually gonna have to pay off. They mentioned it at least 6 times. Yeah. And then when it finally does come up, they're like, we need something pen shaped. So I was like, all right, yeah, I see what you're doing there. You don't trust our minds as an audience.
Yeah, exactly. That sequence though, when they're like flying through space, she's got to go through the portal or whatever, and she's just flying,
pretty
and then
cool
the things
stuff.
move. I was like, and then Socks. We almost freaking lose Socks.
The kitty
the
cat.
best character in the film. Disney's gonna have a field day with that marketing and plushie promotional. Thing's gonna be making millions of dollars.
Very reminiscent of the cat that was on the USS Nostromo in the original Alien, right? That Ripley has with her at all times. So that was a nice little callback too to sci-fi things. Mm-hmm. This cat character of Socks, this thing is going to be on shelves across all toy stores. And it leads me to believe, if this is the movie that influenced Andy, where was Socks in the original Toy Story, right? No marketing for that character.
And then that sequence, like the climax, I thought it was very action-packed, entertaining. When he's going through like the ship's like falling, and he's falling out into space.
Yeah.
He puts the helmet on just in time, and
that was pretty cool.
He's like crawling up the ship. That was amazing. That was probably my favorite sequence of the whole film.
As far as favorite scenes go, I will have to go with the plot twist when he finally confronts Zurg, and then Zurg, reveals to him that it's him from the future. I thought that was pretty cool. I thought it took a risk there, and I thought that's when it finally started paying off to me, the whole theme and plot of this movie. That's when I finally got like truly invested, and I felt like the stakes were now pretty heavy.
I thought with the whole bugs thing, that was going to be a bigger plot point. The robots were kind of fun to see. Zurg, the whole movie. But those bugs, they were like straight out of Wreck-It Ralph. I was like, are we doing this again? So, I don't know. It was just like, I guess just sci-fi elements in there that they were trying to do. Because there's not much that I don't like about this film. There's just things that I guess I wanted to see more of. But obviously we're getting more because there's
they set up a sequel.
3 end credit scenes.
Yeah.
And then Buzz is left off in his clean suit with the spaceship that we see in Toy Story.
My ship!
So that was getting me hyped. I was like, oh, that's straight out of the toy line. So that's really cool.
Yeah, that leads me to believe, where will the franchise go next? Will we see Potato Head, right? I want to know the
untold story.
The untold story of Potato Head. I would love to see a Woody's Roundup 2-hour feature film with a big budget. I think that would be pretty cool. If they're going to like start taking the franchise in this new territory and tell these like one-off stories, I think that'd be pretty cool. Lean into like a 1950s Western almost of Woody and Jesse and the Prospector and Bullseye and all that stuff. That'd be pretty cool to me. One thing I was really hoping to see in this movie is those aliens that we see in Pizza Planet that are like the claw. I was really hoping that they'd be incorporated in this movie at some point, maybe even just like a little Easter egg. Maybe there was and I missed it, but I was really hoping that with the whole sci-fi elements they would do something like that.
Maybe they'll be in the sequel, but there was
Yeah.
that one point when Zurg is coming like Darth Vader in the ship,
Yeah.
and the targeting thing looked kind of similar to the shape of the aliens.
Really?
I noticed, yeah. So I was
Yeah.
like, oh, I was like, is that the aliens that they're going?
Like I said, it might have been there and I just blink and miss it. Type
I'm sure
thing.
there's tons of like Easter eggs that we just didn't see. you know?
Yeah. What'd you think about the animation?
I thought it was very beautiful. I thought like the way the light hit. Buzz's hair is incredible.
Yeah,
Even when he's like 90 years old, the jawline's still there.
Yeah.
Perfect head of hair. I was like, Buzz aged very well.
There was one shot in the movie that looked so real to me. I was like, wow, that's really good animation. But I was kind of hoping that they would lean more into, our little brother Colton said this too, like lean into more of like the practical elements of 90s filmmaking. If this is a movie that came out in 95, I did want to see more of that, like them lean into more of that filmmaking from the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
But overall, it was pretty solid. Final grade, what are you giving this thing?
I think it's a comfortable 8. It's not like crazy, but there's nothing that I hated about it. Obviously, we're getting more, and I wanted more, so that's exciting.
Yeah, I'm going to go a little bit less. I'm going to say a 7 out of 10. It's a solid story, good themes, but overall, it was just okay to me for what I was, sold in the marketing.
Mm-hmm. Rewatchability, I take it or leave it.
Yeah. It'll be on Disney Plus. Maybe I'll throw it on in the background or something, But overall, pretty solid movie.
The end credit scenes, it was kind of like Marvel, where it was just like humor, kind of needless.
Disney.
Because once I heard the rumors, like, oh, there's gonna be 3, I was like, why? Like, what's
Yeah.
going on here? So the one with Zurg was cool because it leads us into more. But I was hoping to see like the credits roll completely and then like go, to the universe again of Toy Story and have Andy be like, oh my God, that was awesome.
Coming
He's
out of the
walking
theater
out
or something like
and it's
that,
just like
yeah.
tugging on his mom's jeans, like, Mom, I need the toy,
Yeah,
or whatever.
yeah.
And then
Set
that
up
sets
like
up
a
Toy
prequel.
Story. Yeah, that would have been cool. I was like, give us Andy. But
Because we know that he gets it for his birthday, right? So, have him come out of the theater just like, oh. that would have been a cool post-credit scene.
what did you guys think about Lightyear? Let us know in the comments below. Anyways, that about wraps up today's episode of Twin Talk. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, comment below to join the discussion, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more content. We'll see you next time. Peace!
To infinity and beyond!